Hello everybody, welcome to this new episode of Books Up Close. I hope you're doing well. If you haven't visited the channel before, my name's Lloyd. I'm a lecturer in literature in the UK and I bring you reviews of books that I'm currently working my way through. This episode we're talking about Raven Leilani's Lustre, which came out in 2020 in the US and came out this year in the UK. It is an incredible book. I'm just going to be very upfront here that it blew me away. The prose, the tautness of it, the focus, the precision of her language is incredible. And it's her debut novel, which makes it doubly annoying for me. But the book follows the character Edie, who is a young black woman living in New York. She works in a publishing company, and at the very beginning of the book we find out that she is involved in a relationship, or starting a relationship with an older white married man called Eric. Now we know he has an open marriage, but straight away we kind of figure out there are some kind of interesting tensions between Edie and Eric and his wife. And at the beginning, there's the first 20 pages or so, the two characters are trying to get together. So they kind of have lots of back and forth in emails and messages and Instagram posts. And eventually they meet up and go to Six Flags. And I want to read you just a tiny little bit from early on in the book. It's not a spoiler in any way, but this just gives you a sense of the amazing prose and the way in which Leilani gets into this dynamic between these two people. We talk for a month before our schedules align. We try to meet earlier, but things always come up. This is just one way his life is different from mine. There are people who count on him, and sometimes they need him urgently. Between his abrupt cancellations, I realise that I need him too, in a way that makes my dreams delirious expressions of thirst. Long stretches of yellow desert, cathedrals hemmed in dripping moss. By the time we set our first real date, I would have done anything. He wanted to go to Six Flags. And that's just one little segment, and then it cuts, and then we get to that date. Just the way in which she moves from the kind of profoundly emotional kind of stuff, like realising that people depend on Eric, and then Edie realising that she might depend on him too, but also how different their lives are. But also the kind of frustration of never quite getting together in those early days, right? The relationship is just mainly online. And then finally, she's like, I will do anything to go on a date with him. And he chooses Six Flags, which is such an odd place to go on a first date with someone who you've kind of met online. There's this difference in age, etc., etc. It just kind of skewers so many things. They get there, they don't have the best time. You know, they're going on rides and it's kind of awkward. And that really sets the tone for the whole book, this almost kind of mismatch of people, the kind of gaps between them, but also the ways in which they come to depend on each other in kind of complicated ways. From there, and I don't want to give too many spoilers, but Edie becomes embroiled in the life of Eric and his wife Rebecca in quite interesting and unexpected ways, in ways I didn't quite see, and I thought things were going to happen that didn't happen. So it really unfolds in a really interesting way. But we eventually learn that Eric and Rebecca have adopted a daughter who is black. And I'm not going to say any more in case I give any spoilers, but the way in which all these characters end up kind of intertwining is really fascinating to me. As I say, the book made me gasp numerous times, just amazing sentences that just come out of nowhere. They're really cut straight to the heart of so many complicated problems. This is a book about the ways in which race and class and gender and sexuality and age are all entangled, right? And how all those things kind of overlap, and how power kind of is underneath all of those things in various ways, or actually is the join between all of those things. But where the book is good is where Edie's kind of lack in terms of, you know, class and money, that opens up questions for Eric and Rebecca in ways I don't think they necessarily saw coming. And in the same way, the kind of the racial contours of the relationship between Edie and Eric open up thoughts for Eric about his daughter and his wife. It's just so fascinating that anything I say, I don't want to give away any kind of plot. But if you have read this, please do let me know, because I want to talk to you about it and see how you find it. One friend did suggest that in the first kind of maybe 50 pages, they felt that it was very millennial fiction, whatever that kind of means. I mean, the way I take it is this sense that it's very it's talking about Instagram and money and class, and it's very self-aware, and it knows what it's talking about in terms of relationships and young people's lives. But actually, I think it goes into a much more profound space in thinking about what relationships are, how they're forged, how they're brought together, how they're undone, the various things that people will do for each other under certain circumstances. In general, I think the book is great on feeling and affect. Leilani is so good at articulating the ways that people feel in scenarios, not just feeling, but kind of the complications of feeling, how you could feel both maybe desire and disgust, or hate and lust at the same time, or dependency and obligation, and so on. There's so many of these kind of messed up feelings connected together. So in all, obviously I love this book. I'm giving it 5 out of 5. I would read anything that Leilani writes next. I will be there buying that book. But please do let me know if you read it, if you liked it, if you didn't like it. Give me your review. Let me know if it reminds you of any other writers, if it connects to anything else you're reading. As ever, please do like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, ring the bell for notifications, send this to a friend, share it around, and let me know what you're reading. Let me know what you're interested in. And until the next video, keep reading, stay well, stay healthy, and look after each other, and I'll see you soon.